Okay, we are back. This is Mary at the Paper Turtle, and I am continuing working on the signatures for this Your Junk Journal. I have the 3 signatures together, and what I did was I finished, put them all together, and I decided that I wanted another taller sheet. I needed one more piece of paper in here, and I wanted it to be taller because I had a lot of shorter ones and they were kind of bunched together, and I just needed a little something else. So for each signature I added a piece of music paper that is the full height. So it kind of breaks up these smaller pieces in here. And it was also, it's a little bit older, it's a little bit fragile, so I added washi tape to each of those. So that took me, you know, a few more minutes to work on that. But they are all now ready to sew into our book. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I need a piece of paper that is the size of my spine. Okay, here's our spine. We already kind of know that it is 10.5 inches. I am pretty sure that that's 10.5. The reason I can't see the half mark on my ruler because it's worn off. Yes, okay, so it's 10.5 inches high by, let me just measure it here, 2.5, 10.5 by 2.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this piece of paper that size because I'm going to use it as a quick template. Now, if you are just jumping in on this video, we are in the middle of making a journal that is going to be a giveaway when it's done and when I have how many? 1,000 subscribers. Right now, as of the filming of this, I think I have 753. So I have a ways to go. But that gives us plenty of time to work on this journal and get some fun stuff in it. All right, so I'm taking this template, which is the size of my spine. And now I have watched numerous people sewing signatures into their journals. Everybody does it a little bit differently. Everybody has their own techniques and methods of doing it. And I have kind of taken some of those methods and techniques and figured out what was easiest for me to do. Because sometimes I would watch people and say, oh, I think there's an easier way to do that. Or I'd watch people and I'd say, oh, well, that's pretty smart. I'm going to do it like that. So I've kind of taken things that I've watched and developed my own way of doing it. And I'm going to try at my best to explain to you my way of doing it, so you can develop your way of doing it. All right, so I take my template, I folded it in half this way, and I folded it in half the other way, as my elementary school art teacher used to say, the hot dog way and the hamburger way. And that gives us the very center point. Okay. From that center point, that's going to be the middle hole of my middle signature. And from there, I'm going to decide where I want the end signatures and then mark them on here. I don't really need to mark all 3 of them on here. And I'm going to show you why. I have this centering ruler. If you don't have one of these, go to the art section of Michael's or wherever and see if you can find one, because these things are the best. It's see-through, so you can, you know, obviously see through it. But it has in the center of the ruler, it has 0, which is at center, and then the numbers going out from the center on each side. So if I put the center at my dot, you will see each side goes to 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. So we know this is exact center. Now I want to determine where I want my other holes. You could go in the center of this section by moving your ruler, finding your center by seeing where your ends are exactly the same distance from the 0. So 0 to this end is 2 5/8. 0 to this center point is 2 5/8. So you know this is your center of this section. But I don't want to put my, what do you call it? Oh my God, Mary speak. I don't want to put my hole right in the center. I want it to be more on this end a little bit. So I think I'm going to put it at, maybe 1 here, at 1 inch from center. So if I put the ruler back at center, my 0 at center, this comes to, of course, some oddball number, 3 5/8. So on this side, I'm going to mark 3 5/8. Now, to make it easier, I could have just left my ruler here in the center and gone 3 3/4 or 3 1/2. That would have been easier, but I was just trying to demonstrate to you that I'm going off of not exactly the center of this section. Okay. So put your centering ruler in the center and decide where you want your other hole to be and make your mark there. In fact, I think I'm going to just to make it easier, I'm going to make it at 3 1/2. So we're going 3 1/2 on each side. Okay. Not this one, not that one. So that's where my my holes are going to be. Then I'm going to put holes in. Take my pokey tool and I'm going to put the holes in those spots. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say okay after every time I say something. That is not how I normally speak. I don't know why I'm doing it now. So now I'm going to take my my book and I'm going to lay my template right in the center, right where it goes. Right like that. I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to mark right through the holes. Now what you could do if you wanted to was you could put the holes, mark the holes for the other 2 signatures right on this template and do the exact same thing what I just did for the center ones. But I'm simplifying things. Of course, it ends up in the black where I can't see it. So what I'm going to do, because I can't see my marking, I'm going to go ahead and make the holes. Hopefully I'll be able to see the holes better. Normally I'd be able to see the markings, but because it's on black fabric, I'm just going to make sure that, yeah, that's good. Because it's on black fabric, I'm going to do the center one first. I can't see where I marked the hole. I could use a white pen, but I'm not going to. So I'm putting my hole right through the whole thing. That one, and that one. So now you have your 3 holes in your book. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my centering ruler. I'm going to center it on the hole. Here's the hole right here. So I'm putting my centering ruler right where the hole is. And you can see on either side, it's about 1 1/4 from the center to the side of the thing here. So I want my my hole to be in between there. So I'm going to put it at 1 1/4. I'm going to put it at 3/4. Does that give me enough room? If I put it right, if I put the hole right here, or should I go right here? I think I should go right here. I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to mark it. I hope I can see that. And we are at, let's see, right here. Yeah, right there. Now, because this material is so busy and such a print, I am having a hard time seeing my dots. So because of that, I'm going to advise you to continue to use this. And we're going to line this up. And where I marked my holes was right here. And right here. Okay. So it's the middle one after the half mark. So we're going to go back and we're going to do this. Centered on the 0. Right here. And right here. Normally I don't use this at this point, but because of the fabric, I am going to use it. And it's easier to show you. Since we can't see the dots on the fabric, it's easier to just show you this way. Okay, so we have all our dots lined up on our template. And you take your template and you put it on your book here. Now, because I've already done the center holes, I just want to make sure that I am exactly where I already put the holes in. So I'm trying to find the hole. There's the hole. So now I'm just going to put the other holes through. Now, if you want, if you're more comfortable, you can clip this down with any kind of a clip that you have. That one's way too big. I'll use these. So that your paper doesn't move. That's optional, but it does make it a little easier, I suppose. I don't know. I guess I've just done this enough times that I just feel like I don't need to do that. Now I'm just, again, making sure that I'm still lined up, that I'm in the hole that I already made, which I am. So now I'm just going to do the other 2 holes. Be careful when you put your hand underneath that you don't stab yourself. Keep your fingers clear of where those holes are. And then do your other 2 holes. There. All right, I'm just going to recap that for a minute because I know I was all over the place and I went back and forth with how I was doing that. If you are new to this and you have not like established your own way of doing this part of it, which I'm sure that some of you have, and you're probably watching me saying, what the heck are you doing, Mary? Make yourself a template. This is just a recap that fits the size of your spine. Fold it this way and this way to find your center. Mark your center. And then from there, then you can mark the other places where you want your holes for your signature. Then take your template, lay it inside your spine, clip it in to hold it there, and then just make your holes. Okay. Sometimes I do it the way that I started to do it and mark the holes on my spine, but because of the fabric being the way it is, I couldn't see my markings good, so I went back to using the template. Okay, that was just a recap, just in case I confused you totally, which I might have done, and I apologize if I did. Okay, now we are going to sew the signatures in. First thing to do is check to make sure that your paper is all where you want it to be. And I did that when I kind of set it all up. A couple little hints. If you have a small piece like this, you want to make sure that it's going to hit at least one of the holes. So, for example, your holes are going to be like here. So if this piece of paper were up here, it would be sewn in on 2 of the holes, which is a good idea because that gives it some stability. And maybe I'll do that. If it were a narrower piece of paper, it's possible wherever you put it, it could miss the holes. So you want to make sure your small pieces of paper are hitting at least one hole to get sewn in there good. Now I think I'm actually going to move this. Should I move it down or up? I'm going to put it right there so that it's going to catch 2 holes, and that'll hold it in nicer. And I kind of like it a little off-centered. And the same with your envelope. Make sure that if you have a small envelope, make sure it's going to hit at least one of the holes. Make sure that your print is going the right way. If you have things that have the written word and you want them a certain way, or music, make sure that it's going the right direction. And just kind of go through your papers and make sure they're where you want them to be. Then you want to make sure that they're all sitting nicely in the crease there. Just kind of tap it down a little bit and set them down in there. Then I should have had these out. Make sure you take your clippy things out ahead of time. I use, you can either use those clips I use paper clips because I feel like they're longer and they hold better. I wish I had more of these big giant ones. I only have one. Because they go down further on your page. Then you just clip, making sure that you've got, that your pages are staying where you want them to be. To me, this is like the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting these papers to lay down so that they're not like bulging and sliding around. And I don't know, it shouldn't be that hard, but to me it seems to, I always have to fumble with it a little bit. All right, so your papers are seated, and they're all lined up, and they're where you want them to be. Take your template and your hole punch, lay your template into the crease of your thing, and make sure that it's centered on your tallest page, your widest paper. You want to make sure that this is centered. If it's not centered, it's going to end up like off center in your book. So I feel that that's pretty well centered. Have your signature folded a bit. I've seen people put these into the creases of an open telephone book. I don't have one, but I would think that would work pretty well. And then go through the hole, make sure that you're going straight up and down. Go through all of your pages. If you don't go straight up and down, what will happen, and hopefully, I'm not going to do it. My pages are really thick here. If you don't go straight up and down, you could end up with your hole not being in the fold. That's not bad. See, this one is a little off of the fold. It's not real bad, but you have to be careful that you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that it's in the fold. All right. Whew. That's like one of the hardest parts, is getting the signature ready to go. I don't mind sewing it at all. The sewing is not the hard part. To me, it's what we just did. All right. I am going to use this nice, pretty pink twine. And you want to do 3 lengths of your book. You could probably really do 2.5, but 3 is being generous and on the safe side. I am using a needle that has a good size hole because, you know, this is a little thicker than sewing thread, but not too fat of a needle, because then you'll end up with holes that are really big. And if you have trouble threading it, you can use a needle threader. I got that one on the first try. Can't believe it. Now, where you start your sewing depends on where you want it to end. Wherever you want your stitching to end and your threads to hang, that's where you start. So I want my stitches to end and hang from the center of my signature. So that's where I'm starting. So I'm going down the center hole. I pull it all the way through. Now this step of sewing these signatures in is where it can get a little fumbly, but that's okay. Just take your time, be patient with yourself, and if you fumble, you fumble. So what? You do it again. It's not a big deal. Just don't let it stress you out. Don't let it get the better of you. All right, so Again, I cannot see my holes because they're in the black. But I know this is my first signature. And it's in the center. So I think the center hole is somewhere around here. So maybe if I look on the back and try to, it's like right here somewhere. The neighbor's dog is barking and I don't know why. Is that it? It feels like that should be it, but it's really hard. Sorry, I just to make sure somebody wasn't coming up the driveway or something. Oh, there are people here. Okay, hold on. I have to go close my door. Okay, my son came back. I don't know why. I'm gonna pause you. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, but you wouldn't know it, but it's been more than a few minutes since I was here last. It's actually been 3 days to figure out what I'm doing here. And I went out to, let's see, there's one hole. The other one's around here. Should be right here somewhere. I went out to see what was going on out in the other room because I can't find this hole. It's like right here. Is that it? I went out in the other room because my husband and my son had gone somewhere. And I'm just doing this to figure out where the hole is, right there. Okay. And they were back way before I expected them back. So I went out to see why they were back so early. And I never got back in here to finish this. And it's been 3 days. And that is why I don't do daily videos. Because there's no way. I can barely get one done in a setting. Speaking of which, I need to check the time. Okay. I can barely get one done in a sitting where without being interrupted. So I don't know what I've already said to you and what I haven't said. So I'm just going to continue doing this and hope we can get it done in this sitting. I think so, because there's nobody here, and my husband has gone out for a walk, and he knows that I need to get this finished, so hopefully I can get it done. So I'm just sewing in this signature. This is the first one. So I went down the middle, up one side, it doesn't matter which side, and then I'm going all the way down to the other side. Sometimes you have to fiddle a little bit. Just be patient with yourself. I feel like I'm like poking a new hole or something. It's really thick. I must have an extra piece of something in there. Oh, it looks like I don't know. Looks like the same hole. It's just really thick. Maybe that's where I have the envelope or something. I don't know. What is happening here? This usually goes a little bit smoother, but because I got interrupted, I'm off my, off kilter here. I have to get back into it. Find my hole. I think that's it. No. I can see the holes on the back. I can't see it on the front side. Oh, right there, okay. It's much easier if you have like a pattern on here that's not a busy pattern like this one is, because it's harder to see the holes. What you could do is use like when you're marking it, use something a little brighter, like red or whatever color will show up better. And then you go back into the center hole. That's the tricky part, I think. Oops. And you try not to split your thread. Now, if you're new and you haven't actually sewn in a signature yet, don't be discouraged by it. Don't be afraid of it. And if you're watching somebody like me who's kind of fumbling around a bit, it's okay, because you might have to fumble around a little bit. But you can do it. All right, what is happening here? I feel like my papers had moved or something. I don't know. But we got it. Okay. Boy. All right. Sorry if that was like all disjointed. I really apologize for that. Okay, now I'm just going to pull and make sure that everything is nice and tight. You don't want to over pull because you don't want to rip something. Just making sure that my threads aren't. And then I want you to notice that I have a thread on each side of the center thing here. And then you just tie it off. And then with this center thing, you can either just trim your threads, you tie it in a bow, you know, whatever you want to do with it at this point. I'm going to leave these hanging for now because I think we'll decide what we want to do. If we want to put some beads on the end of these, or if we want to cut them shorter and put something else, like little, I usually take one of my little punches and punch hearts or something and put them on the ends of these. But we can decide that later. That's like, for me, when I'm putting together a journal, that's like the finishing touches. And I always kind of decide that at a later time. I don't know why. It's just the way I do it. Okay, so we have one signature sewn in. Is that all in the right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay. Phew. Now we're going to do the next signature. And I just, again, want to make sure everything is lined up where I want it to be. Everything is going in the right direction. Okay. So I don't know if I've mentioned it. But when we're doing this, let me know throughout the process of it if there's something that you have seen in my haul videos. And if you haven't watched my haul videos, go back and take a look at them. There's a lot of them there. I think I'm on like number 38 or something like that. If you have not watched my haul videos, check them out. And let me know if there's something that you see in my haul videos that I've gotten that you'd like to see in this journal. You will have a chance to win this journal in a giveaway. So if there's something you'd like to see in the journal, or something you would like to see me use to make embellishments or decorate it or whatever, let me know, because that's, you know, I'm going to be using those supplies in this journal. So let me know what you'd like to see in the journal, what you'd like to see me use. And we can make that happen. Now I've seen people who, when they make this template thing here that I'm using, they'll mark which is the top, in case their holes aren't even. Like if they've got one that's a little bit further out than the other one or something, they'll mark which one is the top. Sometimes I do that. I didn't in this case because I kind of forgot. But that might help also in lining it up. But I measure mine from the center point. So as long as I center the template, then I think that I'm okay. I haven't had any problems doing it that way, so I think it's good. Okay. Thread. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, we end up with a good amount of extra string hanging down there. So 3 lengths is kind of a good rule of thumb. You could do 2.5, but 3 gives you that little bit of extra. Make sure I am going in the right direction. Okay. Maybe this one will go a little bit more smoothly than the first one. I mean, it wasn't bad. You know, getting interrupted like that really kind of throws me off a little bit. And let's see. Hole should be right around here somewhere. I think that's it. No. I'm going to go to the back side and push it through again so that, see, I can see it easily on this side. I think maybe like it closes up a little bit. Right there, okay. So pushing it back through like that helps helps me see it better. And it's okay, you don't have to like tighten it real tight right now. When you're just first sewing it in, you can get it tightened up once you have everything in there. So my son I was talking to my son about my channel and everything. He's the one that got me started on it, really. He has had he's had several YouTube channels in the past. And one of them he did really, really well on, and actually made quite a bit of money on it. He had, he was doing videos with his friend and his friend's kids, and they became very popular, to the point where he ended up having to shut it down, unfortunately. But in the meantime, they had done pretty well, and they were able to establish bank accounts for the kids, and they've got a little bit of money saved up. I think the oldest one now is like 17. And I think that some of his money is going for college, which is wonderful. The kids kind of lost interest in doing the videos after a while. But the oldest one, he does the editing. He did the editing on their videos, and he is like amazing at it. He's so good. He still does videos. He has his own channel now. Where am I? Oh, I'm going up. Okay. He has his own channel now, and he still does some videos, but his editing skills are just awesome. And he's been doing it, you know, since he was a kid. But anyway, I was talking to my son about my channel and telling him, you know, I'm getting a good number of subscribers. Well, for me, you know. It's there somewhere. And I'm really having a lot of fun with it. And he says, what my son likes is the analytics. He likes to figure out what can, oh, that didn't even come up in the hole. What can drive a channel, you know, what can make this channel take off? What is it that people are watching? What do they want to see? All that other kind of stuff. He also has is it Twitch? I think it's the other platform. I think it's Twitch, where they, you know, they're gamers. My son and the kids are all gamers, and they live stream their video games, which I think is odd, but it's what they do. And so he's like big into that, and he's telling me, oh, you should do a live. Oh, I don't want to do a live. And he says, yeah, but people like that. So tell me, do you like watching lives? And would you want to see me do a live? I don't know. I would have to, I don't know how to do it. So I'd have to figure out how, you know, I film just on my cell phone, and that's it. So I'd have to figure out how to set it up so that I can watch it to see the comments. I guess I would set my laptop up and have my laptop here and watch it. Is that how you do it? I don't know. I would probably need to consult with my son a little bit more before I do that. But here's my problem with it. I don't know if other people like lives or not. Personally, I don't like watching a live. I myself don't interact. I would not interact probably unless something really moved me to interact. And when I'm watching videos, I'm watching on my laptop, and I make it full screen. So when you make a full screen, you don't see the comments and stuff. Actually, I've never watched a live. So I don't know what you see when you do it full screen. But when I'm watching it back, I'll watch them afterwards when they're not live anymore. And I don't see the comments when I'm watching it full screen. So I'm watching this person crafting and talking to other people that I don't see. You know what I mean? And I find it a little bit irritating. It's like, and sometimes what they'll do is they stop what they're doing to watch the screen and talk to the people. Now, if you're watching it live, that might be fun to do if you're one of those people that they're interacting with. And maybe filming it live is kind of fun to do. Like I said, I've never done it, so I don't know. But when I watch them back, it's annoying to me to watch them. And sometimes they stop what they're doing to talk. And I'm thinking, I just want to watch you crafting, so can you get on with your crafting? Can you talk and craft at the same time? And I can't. As you can see, sometimes I stop what I'm doing to talk, or if I'm trying to talk while I'm crafting, I lose my train of thought. So I just don't know if I even could successfully do a live. Tell me what you think. What do you think about lives? And, you know, do you watch them? Do you interact with them? Would you be interested in that? I mean, if there's enough interest, I might attempt it. I don't know. But my son seems to think that that's a good a good thing, and I just don't know. I really just don't know. Okay, this goes that way. So tell me what you think. I'm really on the fence about it, and leaning towards not doing it. But I don't want to say I never will, because maybe someday I will. I always said I would never, well, I never said I would never, but I don't, and I haven't used digitals. But I find myself looking at them now, and there's been some free ones offered up that I've gone and taken a look at and actually downloaded. I haven't used any yet. And the ones that I did download were ones that you cut the things out of. It's not like a full page, that I would use the full page. I just was kind of drawn to those, and that's what I ended up with. But I haven't even used them yet. So I don't want to accumulate a bunch of things. I don't want to print out and accumulate a bunch of pieces of paper that I'm going to have to find yet another storage solution for, that I may or may not use. And then if I accumulate them and leave them on my computer and only print them when I'm going to use them, I'll just forget that I have them. So how do you manage your digitals? Do you print them out and keep them like in a folder somewhere, or do you wait and print them as you use them? And if you do that, how do you remember what you have? Okay, this goes this way. And that book is this way. Okay. But it's one area that at first I was like, I don't want to use digitals, but some of them are really pretty. And you can, the ones that I've gotten that you can cut up and use the pieces for, they are really pretty, and they'll be fun to use if I ever actually use them. So I'm anxious to get making stuff for this journal. I noticed last night that I'm already up to 800 subscribers. Wow, that's awesome. Not sure where you're coming from, but thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, something that I do, if you're looking for new people to watch, something that I do, as I'm going through the Facebook groups that I follow, the junk journal groups, if I see somebody post a video, I will put it in my saved items. And then when I'm sitting there watching videos, if I'm looking for, do you see what I did? I pulled the thread all the way through. Okay, let's try that one again. So I put the videos in my saved videos, or my saved posts on Facebook. And then when I'm sitting there watching videos and I want something to watch, I'll go into my saved items and I'll go to that person's videos and I subscribe to them because, you know, fellow YouTubers, we like to subscribe to each other and support each other. So I'll subscribe to them, and then they are now in my my list of subscribers on YouTube. And it's a good way to find new artists, and always looking for new techniques and ideas, because I don't seem to have the imagination to come up with original things. I don't know, you know, there's a few people out there that I've seen them do really original things, or what I think are original things. You know, but I think most of us get our ideas from other people, and then we kind of put our own twist on them and make them suit our needs and personality and everything, and our styles. I was watching one YouTuber one day, and she was saying that people had commented something about, do you ever use your own ideas, or do you always use somebody else's? And I think she took that in, like, they were criticizing her for using other people's ideas. And, you know, she always credits the person. She tells who she got the idea from. It's not like she's, like, taking an idea and saying, I invented this. She doesn't do that. Alright, where's my hole? But I think that she was a little bit insulted or hurt by that comment, because don't we all get inspiration and ideas from each other? Isn't that what it's all about? I think it is. And I don't know. It was just, she thought it was kind of a rude comment. I don't know if it was intended that way or not. But if it was, then I think that it was rude also, because I don't know. I just think that it's okay to get ideas from people, because if you're putting your stuff out there, why would you put it out there if you didn't want people using that idea, you know, or trying your technique or your idea or whatever? Why would you even put it out there if you didn't want somebody to use it? You want it all to yourself. It's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Nice and tight. That looks pretty. We are almost done sewing this in. Yay. Oh, I'm knocking everything over. Okay, there's our signatures sewn in. Boy, that's really close to the top, isn't it? That's all right. They look pretty straight to me, though. I think we did a good job there. And now we are ready to start decorating. And the poor kitties, you can see that you can see that they're upside down. I didn't think you'd notice it as much, but that's okay. Hey, it just makes it interesting, right? I thought, you know, after I did this, after I put this on here, I thought of a way that I should have done it so that this also would be right side up. But I didn't. So that's all right. We're going to roll with it. It's okay. All right, so here we are. Here's our signatures are in the book. And we are ready to fatten this baby up. And she's got lots of room where she can grow. Now, another thing that we'll need to do, which I also generally save for the end and the finishing touches, is to figure out what kind of closure we want on it. But we will figure that out later. I'm thinking, and tell me what you think, of putting a button on here and then having it either have a tie on each end and tie in the middle, or have a tie on the back and have it come up and wrap around the button. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you'd like to see, or if you have some other idea. I want your ideas on this, because I want this to be like our journal. So let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you've seen in my haul videos that you'd like to see me use in this journal, and we will start working on it. We'll start filling it up with stuff. So keep an eye out for the next craft along where we do something. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. I don't know. I've got several ideas sitting over here waiting for me to do videos, so we'll be doing some of those. And thank you so much for subscribing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you know when I upload another video. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.